How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk, and today we're going to talk about inmate suicides. More specifically, how the routine of an officer can be utilized by an inmate to be successful at that suicide attempt. So basically, it's inmates circumventing our routine. And I think that the public automatically assumes that every time an inmate kills themselves, staff was aware and they're 100% at fault for not stopping it. And I don't think that's the case. So stand by for our sponsors, and we're going to talk about inmate suicide.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Being a corrections officer takes its toll on even the strongest individuals. The constant need to perform at the highest level, putting your life at risk in a hostile environment, and the mental scarring of traumatic experiences. 31% of corrections officers show symptoms of PTSD, and 66% of people with PTSD also suffer with a substance abuse problem. The Transformations First Responders program is specially designed to help veterans and officers heal from the grips of addiction and PTSD in a comfortable, supportive, and serene setting. You are not alone. If you have questions about the services we offer, give us a call at 866-762-8454 to get more information on this affordable and life-changing program.
Thank you guys for listening to our sponsors. Now, inmate suicides can be very hard to prevent. Again, if the inmate is willing and determined. That's their mindset. That's what they want to do, and they're going to find ways to do it. Trust and believe they're going to find ways to do it. And what we have to do is kind of like a hard shot at learning here is that if the inmate's extremely inventive with their ways, we just make sure that we adjust, that it doesn't happen again to another inmate. But either way, when you have someone with the mindset that they're going to want to kill themselves, they're going to be inventive and they're going to find the ways to do that. Plus, inmates know the system. They know policy. They know procedures. They know that we have a routine job. We have to count at certain times. We may have paperwork. They know the amount of manpower in their unit. So when a lot of people look at staff after an inmate suicide and say, well, staff was at fault, they were negligent, that's not always the case. There are going to be inmates that are going to find a way to circumvent the system, and act. That's the key. They know for a fact of how we operate, and they know how to go around those operations to succeed at their suicide attempt. So again, very hard to predict. Very hard to predict if the inmate is not given any signs, and that's the key. If the inmate does not give any signs that they want to kill themselves, because most likely the inmate that wants to kill themselves is not going to give us any signs. They're not going to give us any signs, and they're going to kind of plan it out. And they're going to plan it based on our defined routine. Again, we could be spontaneous somewhere in that defined routine, but there are certain things that we have to get done that takes a certain amount of time, and during that time, it's when they're going to do it. That's the key. So when people look at the newspaper and say, oh my God, staff was negligent, how could they let this inmate kill themselves, or how did the inmate get a hold of that to do it? That's crazy. They shouldn't be allowed that. Yeah, again, this is an inmate whose mindset was set on killing themselves. They circumvented the system, found out where we were vulnerable, acted on that vulnerability, and again, devised a method because they're thinking about how to do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where we may not have that mindset coming in, but we learn. So once they use that method, and it's unique to us, we adjust, and we catch it next time. We prepare for it next time. So again, they're very inventive in their ways. And there's other inmates that may fake it because they want to get attention. For whatever that attention may be. Maybe you have an inmate that doesn't like a charge that he got. I'm going to kill myself because this charge wasn't warranted. Or I want to get moved. I don't want to be in this unit. I'm going to kill myself. Or I want to stay in this unit because I'm afraid to go to the unit. I'm going to try to kill myself. So they're going to fake an attempt for attention to get what they want. It motivates them, and they're hoping that by saying I'm going to kill myself, it gets what they want. Crazy, right? Because we don't think like that. It's not a logical reaction. If I don't get what I want, I don't say, hey, I'm going to kill myself. Give me what. It's just not logical. So the public may not see that. But that's what they do. They do that to manipulate some form of gain. And then when you look at the numbers, everybody counts every attempt. Well, there's got to be something going wrong. No, these are attempts because they may not be actual suicide attempts. They could be attempts that are being utilized to motivate for some type of goal that the inmate has in mind, not an actual suicide attempt. It just could be a setup because they know we have to act. They know we have to act. Nobody cares if we stop this inmate 99 out of 100 times. 99 times he claims I'm going to kill myself, and he never does it. He just does it to get attention. And on that last time, let's say you just say, you know what, this inmate ain't going to do it, and you don't act. You're still going to be held responsible. Nobody cares about the other 99 times. All they care about is that one time that you missed it. So they know that, and they know we have to act. Plus, if they're looking for attention, and they don't get that attention, they're going to up it. And when they up it, that's when they can put their life at risk. Oh, you don't think I'm going to kill myself? You don't think so? Okay. And now they take the leap. But again, they're expecting us to save them. So we're going to be held responsible for that. And the sad thing is that we're going to do the best we can to prevent. We're going to see the signs, for the inmates that may tell us. We'll see the signs and we'll act accordingly. And for those that are most likely want to do it, there may not be any signs. So we may catch up on it either when we're doing a very spontaneous tour and we just happen to walk right on it, the inmate didn't expect it, or if something brings our attention to it, like a cellmate. Hey, yo, Bunky's trying to take his life. And we will act accordingly because our job depends on it. There's also times where they'll put in the paper, wow, an officer watched an inmate die. That's all they'll put. They won't explain anything with policy, saying that the officer didn't want to wait. Policy says he needs another officer to open up the cell. The facility was understaffed, and he couldn't just open up the cell because it could have been a setup. That opening the cell could have put the facility at risk. But again, public doesn't know that, and no one's educating them. So it's not like the officer wanted that inmate to die, watched him die. It's just that the officer couldn't act because he was waiting for backup. And he knew if it was a setup and he opened up that cell door, his job is done. But who's defending him? Who's defending her? So again, educating the public. It's educating the public and letting the public know that not all suicides, a person that's willing and able, is going to be easy to prevent. It's going to be very, very hard. Remember, the amount of inmates per officer, and if there's just no signs, if there's no signs to interpret, it's very hard for us to catch it. And if we do catch it, it's by luck. As I said, it's by luck. Someone either brings us to the attention of it, or as I said, we could just happen to take a random tour. But at the end of the day, we're getting called out and being negligent, and that's not always the case. And that poor officer who's professional, committed to his job, committed to her job, and now someone dies on their shift, and they did their tours. They did what they were supposed to. They just couldn't catch it. Now you got an officer that's affected. I did a whole video on this. Sometimes the officer could know the inmate. It's a human life. Could get affected by that. We're human. There's no undue there. It's a human life. Or maybe the officer takes their job seriously. I'm a professional. No one's dying on my shift because my job is to protect you. And then when the inmate does it, the officer feels like, I didn't do my job. I didn't protect that individual. And they may take that to the heart. And then on top of that, the stress of them maybe not having a job once the investigation and someone wants to make them fall on the sword. Here they did everything they were supposed to do, but now they're nervous because they don't know if they're going to have a job the next day. And that investigation could take a while. Good investigators at that point, I'm telling you something, they act on it quickly and they do what they can to make sure that that officer is not left in a state of limbo. That we get an answer, especially if that officer did everything by the book. That officer did everything by the book. Reality is, shit happens. It's sad, shit happens. This inmate planned it, circumvented the system, knew how many people were working that shift, and unfortunately this officer, who was extremely professional, did what they were supposed to do that day, winds up working that night when the inmate decided this is the day to do it. So again, before we go to see or blame the officer or the staff member for being negligent, look to see if there were signs that were missed. And remember, not every attempted suicide is a real suicide attempt. We treat it that way. We act as if every attempt is a real suicide attempt, but most of the attempts are to gain either a goal. Inmate has a goal in mind. They're trying to manipulate the system, whether it's for a move, whether they want to contest something that they don't like. So they make that attempt because they know we have to act. So I don't know if there's ever a way to keep a proper count of the real attempts and the successes of us catching it, and the real attempts and our failure to catch it. But we have to go beyond that attempt number. That's quantity. If we want people to understand the system, we have to show them the quality, the information behind it. Because the numbers say one thing, but reality is something totally different. And it's education like that that's going to bring a new light to the system and hopefully more respect for those brave men and women that work behind the wall, that risk their lives every day saving those inmates. As always, the show is Tear Talk. If you agree with this message, please, guys, engage, interact, like, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, guys, hit that bell. The bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video. My name is Anthony Gangi. Show Tear Talk. Stay safe.